Firewatch is the first game from developer Campo Santo, led by the minds behind Telltale's The Walking Dead series, along with famed graphic artist Ollie Moss. A first-person adventure title set in rural Wyoming in the late 1980s, Firewatch pits the player as Henry, a newly appointed fire lookout whose sole ally is Delilah, his supervisor with whom he communicates through a walkie-talkie. Over the game's brief playtime, he'll be called upon to scare away troublesome teenagers and assist in putting out fires, but it's clear from early on that someone, or something, is creeping around the forest. If there's one thing Firewatch truly does well, it's fashioning a strong sense of atmosphere. For one, though the graphics aren't going to be straining anyone's rig anytime soon, Moss's style finds a firm niche between cartoonish and grittily authentic that's pleasing to the eye. In terms of the narrative, as soon as it becomes apparent that something's not quite right, the game holds the player in a near constant state of nervous tension, unsure of whether or not it's going to descend into full-tilt survival horror madness at any moment. Whether it does, however, won't be spoiled here. It also puts firm pay to its two central characters, voiced superbly by Mad Men's Rich Sommer and also Sissy Jones. Whether the burgeoning relationship is merely professional or romantic is really up to the player, their responses dictating its tide and tone as the story progresses. Regardless of your approach, Sommer and Jones both do terrific jobs imbuing these faceless characters with plenty of, well, character. For all of the good it does presentationally, however, the gameplay is what matters the most, and it's where Firewatch stumbles the hardest. For a game likely to clock in at 3 to 4 hours for most players, there's a rather arduous amount of backtracking, unaided by a fairly clunky map system which will find the player staring at a piece of paper more than they'd probably prefer for a game that's so scenic. Moreover, having to hike back through trails repeatedly reeks more of busy work than anything, and games so short really shouldn't feel so padded. The limitations of the environment are also irritatingly apparent throughout. You'll get yourself snagged on rocks and be unable to climb up a foot-high rock unless the prompt wants you to, which can be frustrating when a clear path seems held within arm's reach. The controls are also a little fiddly on occasion, and the game's scripted objectives lack intuition. In one instance, I figured out the next objective through observing my environment in a perfectly valid, logical way, but the game wouldn't allow me to simply move on to said objective. I had to discover it in the way the game intended, resulting in more of that aforementioned busy work. If not measuring up to the admittedly unfair hype placed in front of it, Firewatch is nevertheless an enjoyable, mercifully short romp that transcends the walking simulator label to deliver an interesting experience, albeit one that serves up a fairly underwhelming payoff after all that brilliantly wrought suspense. It's no masterpiece, but an intriguing curio all the same. Firewatch gets a high 6 out of 10. Thanks for watching, and I'll be here from dusk till shore.